Krishna. We are live, and I have the absolute most best surprise to share with all of you. The best surprise happened to me yesterday, and I couldn't help but bring all of you into that surprise. So we have my very dear father, His Grace Vishvambar Prabhu, who is a senior Srila Prabhupada disciple. He met Srila Prabhupada in the early 70s. And he's a medical practitioner, and also now he preaches throughout the world, enlightening so many of you and me on Krishna's subjects, Krishna's teachings. So we have His Grace Vishvambar Prabhu. He also has a Facebook page, so I'm going to put in the link so all of you can join his Facebook page. Hare Krishna! And we have Her Grace, my very dear Gopi Gita Mataji. She is the vice principal at TKG Academy, which was the first spiritual institution. It is the spiritual school where they educate children from all over the world. So if you're looking for a place for your children, they're teaching from preschool all the way to high school. I'm going to move to Dallas very soon, so all my children can come. And so lots of love to all of you. We're going to start out with sharing our journey in Krishna consciousness. And all of you know that we have been raised, or maybe you don't know, so I'm telling you. We've been raised in Krishna consciousness, and the way that kept us together was through the names of Krishna. Are you going to chant with me? All right, so we'll chant together. Shall we do that? Some kirtan? So we'll do some kirtan, and then we're going to answer all your questions. So have your questions ready. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, sabko Radhe Radhe bolna padega. Bolo sabhi. Nama Om Krishnaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Gaura Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyati Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Mile Vrindavan Dham. So we're so very excited that you are all here. You've all joined us. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to introduce you again. My father, my very dear Pitaji, has joined us today. They arrived yesterday. His Grace Vishwambar Das has come here. Hare Krishna to all of you. I'm reading your comments. I'm so very excited. And we have my very dear sister, my Gopi Ben, my Murti Ben. She has come here. And Her Grace Gopi Gita Mataji. So we want to say Hare Krishna to all of you. Today, we are going to be sharing with you. We're going to be sharing with you. Some of you have sent in these questions. How have we, as a family, what is our story? You've asked this question. And so today we're going to be sharing with you our story and how we became Krishna conscious. Because we're really here to be connected together. And so I wanted to bring in my family to show you how we all became Krishna conscious. So we're going to ask, first we're going to start off with my dear Pitaji. And we're going to ask him, because you've sent in these questions, in family or even in your general life, how can we keep the faith strong within our family?
First of all, let me thank you, Gaura Mani Mataji here, who is my dear daughter, and her whole family here that is gathered. It's a wonderful occasion for me to get together with this wonderful Krishna conscious family, along with my other daughter, Gopi Gita, and her family. It's a wonderful occasion to go on this very exciting journey, and it's a very interesting question that how we can move forward or how we can develop our faith in the family situation. What is faith that can get us overcome any kind of difficulties in life? What is that faith that to face any kind of challenge in life and come out victorious? So I would share with you, when I was a small boy, I watched my mother, and my mother was worshipping. She called him baby Krishna, my Maro Lalo. So she was worshipping Maro Lalo, and I watched her in my childhood. And one time she told me that this Lalo is your best friend. Amaro Lalo, taro best friend che. So I learned from that time onwards to see this baby Krishna as my best friend. And then later on, when I met Srila Prabhupada in Bombay at Cross Maidan, then he told me, I was very fortunate to have his darshan and his personal instruction. And that time he told me to put my faith in Bhagavad Gita, and he gave me instructions. So this is a journey. It's a very exciting and amazing journey in developing our faith gradually. And when I came first time to America, the very first day I saw the devotees in Manhattan performing Kirtan, and they were wearing dhoti and kurtas, and they were wearing, the ladies were wearing saris. So I was amazed that American people, they are also practicing just like us in India. I was very excited to see them, and one of the devotees gave me back to Godhead, and he said that this magazine has all the answers to all your questions. So this way I was gradually getting faith step by step. I did not know that time, but I was getting help from some superior powers, and as if time to time. So in Chicago, later on, different Maharajas, I had the good fortune to associate with great advanced devotees and Maharajas, and they helped me to gradually increase my faith. And there is one very great teacher, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I got his small book called Hari Nam Chintamani. This book, Hari Nam Chintamani, it acted as the most powerful substance that I can ever imagine. And by reading this book, I could completely convince myself that actually I can really put my faith in the Harinam, in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes.
And then as I read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada's classes and lectures, then my faith was getting more and more solid. He was Prabhupada was telling me and training me personally how to chant Hare Krishna, in what mood to chant Hare Krishna, how to depend on the holy name all the time. So this journey of developing faith and then sharing with our friends and family all our realizations as we get more and more realizations on this journey. This is a very wonderful journey. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Pidaji. And so many of you have joined. I want to shout out to Jagdish Kaka, his wife, Hari to you. And we have Molly's watching. So hey Molly, we love you. And so the next question, and I'm going to ask my sister, I'm going to ask you this question. How did it feel growing up in Krishna consciousness? So if you can answer. So how many of you want to know what it feels like to be raised in a Krishna conscious family? So many of you have joined us. We're born in a Krishna conscious family, but this question has come, how did it feel to be raised in a Krishna conscious family?
Well, we have I think 200 people watching right now. 200 or 300 have joined. And I understand that you join regularly every single day to hear Gaura Mani Mataji for 45 minutes. You can imagine how exciting it was to grow up with Gaura Mani Mataji.
Oh my God.
And not just grow up with her, but be her big sister.
Oh. Totally. Should we go into that? Scary. No. Fun and scary. Okay, go for it.
Krishna conscious, how many of you have Krishna conscious families? If you have a Krishna conscious family or even children that you're trying to raise today, can we have you say yes on the screen so we know how many of you watching have children that you're trying to raise either in America or in India? It is actually one of the most difficult tasks to do. Being a mother.
I say that all the time. Did you say that? It's crazy. One of the biggest challenges.
Challenges, yes. Being a mom or a dad, selfless service. There's a long list of responsibilities that you have to fulfill. Cooking, cleaning, and then the kids have to be eating healthy prasad, and then on top of that you want them to make sure that they have values, that they know how to respect each other. And then on top of it, you want to give them the holy name and Krishna consciousness, and the long list of like to-dos for what a mother is supposed to impart to her child is so long, it can be mind-boggling. And so in a future live episode,
yes,
we can share a little bit about what we as a community in Dallas, the mothers that get together in Dallas and the TKG Academy, what secrets we follow in order to instill this idea of Krishna consciousness, this love for Krishna and this excitement of being a devotee and sacrificing one's personal time and energy for serving. What we share, we can share that, the details and the secrets to that in a future episode.
We'll do that soon. So how many of you would like another live video on Krishna conscious family raising, how to raise your children in Krishna consciousness? And you can comment yes. And we have a very, very good friend, Achyuta Gopi, has joined us live. So we're going to be seeing you in a couple of days. Oh my God. So what was it like to grow up in Krishna consciousness. And we'll keep it real quick, but you also grew up in Krishna consciousness. So what were the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them, and how are you here today at this stage, still with full faith, with strength, with conviction and determination? How many of you face hitting roadblocks and struggles in faith with family, and even if you're not with family, just by yourself? So we're going to ask Pidaji about what did you face growing up in Krishna consciousness, and how did you overcome it?
Growing up in Krishna consciousness was it was a different kind of experience, because I wasn't in a quote-unquote ISKCON family, Krishna conscious family, but I was raised in a Hindu pious family. My parents were very religious, and we discussed about Krishna. We discussed from different scriptures like Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So I took part in those discussions from my early childhood, and they would take me to wherever some sadhus came in town. We would go for darshan and their classes and lectures, etc. We would like to get their blessings. So I think that the major factor in developing our faith in Krishna consciousness, my experience from very childhood, was to depend on the blessings of the great saintly personalities. And I was fully convinced when I met Srila Prabhupada that actually all the good fortune, all the blessings comes from meeting with a real genuine saintly personality.
Yes.
So Prabhupada, he put that faith, that seed of faith, that became stronger and stronger as the time went on, as I described. There were different challenges, but I got the strength from the words of Prabhupada.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
The question was,
Are you
what was
crying,
it like?
or it's just tears?
It's just tears.
She's having ecstatic symptoms.
Gaura Masi too.
Garangi Masi, and then Dalila, and we have Achuta, and we even have Radhi Garvi from Laguna, and Meghna Masi is there. So you guys are pros at raising Krishna conscious children.
All right, so my father was just speaking about how he came in touch with a saintly personality, and that saintly personality instilled the faith in his heart that this is what he wants to do and this is who he will be, his identity for the rest of his life. And I was thinking that we were very, very fortunate that we had a saintly personality that was in our home from the moment that even before we took birth. My earliest memory is of Pidaji reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. All day he would make my mother sit down, and she would listen, and he went from the Adi Lila, first canto, all the way to the end when my mother was pregnant with me. Because the idea is that what the baby hears in the womb, that's what the consciousness of the baby will be throughout the life.
So read to your children.
And even more than that, Pidaji's whole atmosphere in the house was of hearing and listening. He spent, especially during our teenage years, he spent hours just sitting at the dining table, asking us how our day is, asking us what our different ideas are, our philosophical thought on the things that we were reading, asking us the obstacles that we're facing, and listening. And he was giving us unconditional love. His own personal life goals and ambitions he put to the side, or at least I felt like he had put those to the side just to give us that firm foundation of childhood of love. And that was the biggest thing for me.
And he wanted us to be Krishna conscious. It was like his goal in life was to raise Krishna conscious children. So really, like, you have goals for your children. And if you're going to put those goals, if you want them to be Krishna conscious, that has to be one of your goals. And that was what he did. Sacrificed everything. I think one of the most difficult things for us as parents is to give a sacrifice. We're focusing on our own selves. Today's mothers are scary. We're talking about the difference of today's mothers and the previous mothers, how mothers served and mothers nurtured, but today's mothers are quite different. So raising Krishna conscious children as mothers. Now the question was, how do we feel growing up in Krishna consciousness? So I feel that, and you answer that question, because we had Pidaji in our home. He was our backbone. He was our guru. He gave us everything that we have.
He gave us time. He gave us time.
And there were scary moments. Being a child in Krishna consciousness, there were tons and tons of rules and regulations that needed to be followed. There was mommy who used to beat us up all the time. And you know, it was not like, you know, perfect. There's no perfect situation. But because Krishna was in the center of everything we did, it just balanced it out, and it made it into a situation that was fun, well balanced, and brought us back to that center of Krishna. Being raised in Gurukul, being raised with devotees, with Vaishnavas. Now we have a problem of addiction. We have an addiction that doesn't let us sleep. So how did we get that addiction growing up in Krishna consciousness? There were a lot of children complained about the rules and regulations, but I do feel that when you're put on strictness and force, were we forced? Oh my goodness, we were forced. We were, weren't we? She doesn't feel forced. Yes, we were forced.
She felt forced. Why did you feel forced?
I felt forced because
Because of me.
because of you. You forced me to do everything. No, definitely there was a force, but I think a force was a healthy force because it went up to a certain age, and then once we hit about 11 or 12, it was given into a habit and a choice. So once you form a habit, that you get into that routine through that previous force. I mean,
well, for me, it felt like because Pidaji spent so much time understanding and listening to my needs, that then when he would suggest something, I was so much more open to it. I felt like he understands me. He knows what my likes are, what my dislikes are, and yes, that makes sense, so I can do that. It was very logical. It made a lot of sense to act in those rules and regulations, as you may understand.
Right. When we look back at it,
but we had a different completely different outlooks and experiences. Interesting. Even though we were in the same environment.
That shows individuality. But even though we were in the same environment, we were raised completely different. I totally forgot what I was about to say. So if you have any other questions.
In the beginning.
Oh, example. I just wanted to bring up this point. That even though I may have felt that I was forced, I have no regrets. And I'm only thankful and so grateful for those moments. So growing up in Krishna consciousness with a little bit of force, but a lot of opportunity for spiritual growth, it brings me back to feeling grateful. And I had the perfect example in my home. And Pidaji taught us by his example.
So it is called the law of inertia.
The law of inertia.
So the law of inertia is that in the beginning an object is sitting, and in order to move it you have to put a little bit of force. And then when you move, when it starts moving, then the force is not required. So in our mind, the mind is like a computer. So initially we insert the good software and make tracks on this software. So gradually as this good software, good tracks are built up, they turn into good habits. And when these good habits become the lifestyle, then no force is required. So initially it says that we should try to follow the rules and regulations. This is what we were taught by Prabhupada in ISKCON. That it helps to have good habits in life. So build on good habits, and habits are formed. So in the beginning we have to put a little bit of more exertion, little bit of hard work is required just to start with.
But you know what was interesting for me? Those rules and regulations, they were done with so much love and so many festivals and so much happiness. It was never like, remember we would go to Mangalarti Bir Krishna Maharaj's classes.
It was running.
Bir Krishna Maharaj's Bhagavatam classes were always laughter. Mother Irma, the way she presented Krishna consciousness, it was exciting. It was festivals.
It was festival, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So I'm trying to address a situation where, imagine if you're in their situation.
So
what are the obstacles?
Make happy festivals.
Okay.
Smile, laugh, sing, dance. Create an environment in your own home of happy, fun activity with your family.
Yes.
And just bring Krishna there.
Bring Krishna into the center. So thank you all so much. Do we have any more questions? I agree, but first we must read ourselves long before we have children.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, definitely. Thank you. Shiv Singh
Absolutely.
Pater has asked this question, or actually given the suggestion. So yes, definitely we must read ourselves, and that's such a beautiful
We have
journey.
to become firm in our faith before we can give the faith to our family, right?
Yes,
Yes.
for sure. So if there's any other questions, I wanted to thank you all for joining us. We're going to be wrapping up here our journey in Krishna consciousness. I wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you. I think we have Kili Sundari, a beautiful friend in South Africa. Lots and lots of love. I did get your message. I'm going to be replying to your message. And if you have any other questions, there's one more question. You want to quickly read me that question? Lots of love to you, Meghna. Big hugs. For Krishna conscious, don't go. So, just quickly answer that next question. There was one more question that was sent in.
Which one?
And did your childhood in Krishna consciousness impact the way you raise your children?
Yes.
And we're going to do it real quick. And how was your family like growing up? Did they pressure you in Krishna consciousness? We covered that one already. So,
The childhood can help you. If you are in your childhood, if you had good experiences and you got blessings, the culture helps a lot. If
Yeah.
you are raised in a good culture, in a good atmosphere, then you want to also give that culture and atmosphere to your children. So it will have the good experience helps you also. Yes, definitely.
did your
in
childhood...
Krishna consciousness impact the way you raise children? Absolutely. Well, first, when you're a kid, you always think, I'm going to do this like my mom, or I'm not going to do that because my mom did that. Has that ever happened to you? Where when you were a child, you were like, oh, mommy's like that. I'm not going to do that when I get older.
Oh, yes,
Or-
for sure.
Or I am going to do that. That's a...
The funny thing is, I remember chanting japa and praying to be a qualified mother. That was one of my very strong prayers. This was when I was about 13 years old.
And I
And
would,
just...
I would say you succeeded that.
Aww.
Kana is giving the certificate.
I have. Come here. You're so that. This is my Kana, and
That's so sweet.
he's my behind the scenes. We're gonna have you guys jump in. So Kana is here, and he just says that we were successful mothers, and then we're gonna have Radhe jump in, and we have Nitai, Pran, and Raji Kishore. So I wanted them all to come in this morning. Between you. Huh. So I wanted them to come in this morning. If you have any questions about Krishna conscious children, we're all here today. Abhiya, Jonah, please.
This is my brother, Ghana. This is me, and this is my mommy.
So what can you say about being raised in Krishna consciousness? We'll start with Nitai.
It's fun or
It's
funny?
fun.
Is it fun or is it a punishment?
It's fun.
Okay, so what's fun?
funny?
So
What's
what's
funny?
fun?
The festivals are really fun. And also the group.
Festivals are fun.
Okay, now my turn.
And Raju, you're not in the shot, but go ahead, Raju.
Can I go? Okay. Krishna consciousness is very fun, and it can also be really, really awesome because you go to Kirtan, you get to listen to Kirtan, get to dance in Kirtan, and you get to sing in Kirtan. All
Wow,
four of them
amazing.
jam-packed in one.
Oh,
And they just blast.
And then Prashadam, so she likes Prashadam,
The
she likes
one.
dancing. And Reggie,
And
can
this
you say your
is
name?
my name, Radha. Radha.
So we have my nephew
Radha.
here, Raji Kishore. And how old are you, Raju?
I am 14.
And he did the SAT.
And yesterday he took the SAT.
ACTs.
Okay, Gaura.
So he's studying. Where are you studying?
I'm studying at TKG Academy, and it's a very nice school. You know everyone, and I just think that it's the best school I've ever been to.
TKG Academy, is that where you study?
Mm-hmm.
So how many of you guys want to know about TKG Academy? Yes. So I want all of you, I'll be putting the link for their page. It is the first spiritual institution. It was called ISKCON Educational Gurukula, where they teach all the subjects to all the children. So Srila Prabhupada, he started this school. So Raja Kishore, he studies at TKG Academy, and
so does
what about Krishna consciousness? Tell me something. Do you think it's fun, or is it boring, or is it scary? Do you like to be a Krishna conscious devotee?
Definitely.
Why?
I love to be a Krishna conscious devotee because I could pursue my wants. Like, I love kirtan, I love playing mridanga, and the prasadam is amazing, and it's just very interesting in the way we interact with others. Everyone's very nice and respectful, and it's...
But when you're now 14, so don't you want to be like all the normal American 14-year-olds? No. You don't? Why not?
How you want to be different?
How do you want to be different?
I'd rather do something different in the world.
You'd rather
like preach and...
Look at the camera.
All right, and Kana, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Kana Das.
How old are you?
I'm 12, and I'm from Vrindavan. And well, just kirtan is just amazing. It's like a very big benediction we have gotten, and we're very lucky to be chosen that we can be in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna consciousness is just like, it's just amazing because you get to travel around the world, see new devotees, and kirtan is just my thing. And we're thinking,
You don't want to be like every other 12-year-old in America going to country jail? No, why not?
Because their lives are,
He's happy and satisfied.
they eat meat, and that's killing. You could give an example. It's basically like killing on
another human.
Another human, exactly.
Oh,
and
my
why
goodness.
would you do that?
They eat meat?
Yeah.
Oh, Krishna. And what else is terrible?
I don't know. They just don't.
There's a lot of things.
And they don't eat veggies.
They don't eat veggies.
Everyone, we just have to let them know about Krishna consciousness.
Yes, so
They're
these
just
children,
innocents. They're just innocent.
they are forced, yes, at many
No, we're
times.
not. We're not.
I think the word force is when you're doing something completely against your will.
It's
Whereas
encouraged.
guided and encouraged is
Okay.
another term
So
to
these
use.
children are guided
And
and
encouraged.
encouraged to be Krishna conscious. And we as parents, we strive, we try to not scream in their ears. But we try to bring Krishna into everything, and we try to make it as fun as possible. So if you have families and if you have children, today you can tell them and give them Krishna by making it fun.
Yes.
Don't make it a force,
Sure.
or don't make it a difficulty.
Kind of like if you play Krishna conscious games. Play Krishna conscious games, and so they learn more about Krishna. Go Govinda. You don't want to go through the list.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So thank you all for joining us.
wait.
We'll all
Also, make sure you like, comment, and share
And
His
subscribe.
His Grace Vishwambar Das's page.
Right.
Oh, and yes, Pidaji has a page. It's HG Vishwambar Das. I'll be putting the link in so you can get lots of spiritual knowledge and spiritual dosage. We all need that every day because we're all suffering just because of our own lack of faith. So all of you have a wonderful, beautiful day. Let's send all of our love to everybody and love and blessings to everybody. And yes, and lots of love, lots of blessings to all of you from our beautiful family. Thank you so much for joining us.
Jai Jai
Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.